Christian Whiton used to work in the State Department. We usually lean on him for his State Department expertise. He wanted to talk about gas prices, so make your case, Christian. Why shouldn't we do this?
Well, it's not actually going to help Ukrainians for us to make more at the pump, and it's not really going to hurt Russia either. Russia eventually will be able to sell oil and natural gas on the market. You're already seeing voices coming from Germany, one of Russia's biggest consumers, that, well, we would like to transition away from Russian energy, but we can't do that very quickly. It's going to take some time. So to protect our economy, we need to import. Japan also needs to import Russian energy. And incidentally, the sanctions Biden enacted were intended not to include Russian energy exports. It just so happens they terrified all of the oil traders and all of the bankers. So now we have a de facto embargo. Shell tried to break that, probably at the urging of the British government. They bought a shipload of Russian oil, highly discounted on Friday. They got creamed for it in the court of public opinion. But essentially, we're asking Americans to pay more, but not really. It's just going to go to Arab exporters, Canadian exporters. It doesn't help Ukrainians. And Russia as well, as Antony Blinken has pointed out. He thinks it pads their profits. Would the ban hurt the West as much as Russia? I mean, it's clear that it was going to hurt Europe more than the U.S., right? But you don't think this would hurt Russia that much? Right, because there's essentially a world price of oil, and the reason oil is traded at slightly different levels is just because of a slight difference in grade and transportation costs. But if you constrain what Russia exports, then it's going to raise the price, and we're seeing that today. I mean, why is oil up? Jen Psaki is wrong. It's not because of anything Russia has done. Russia has not stopped any oil production inside of Russia. It hasn't blown up any significant pipelines in Ukraine. Ukraine doesn't actually produce that much. You're not seeing a supply constraint from Russia here. It is a result of U.S. sanctions that were designed and implemented in a sloppy fashion, and you're seeing the outcome at the pump. Of course, as you mentioned, regular over $4 a gallon nationally and over $5 in California. Right. What do we do, Christian? I mean, Elon Musk is calling for more oil production here and nuclear production in Europe. Are those viable options? Certainly from a technological point of view, yes. Germany is planning to shut down its last 3 nuclear reactors, which will make them more dependent on Russian oil exports. They should reverse that, but they probably won't because they have a precarious political coalition that includes the Greens. Similarly, in the United States, we're still 1.5 million barrels per day below where we were at peak oil production in the Trump administration 2020 before the pandemic. We could at least get back up there. 1.5 wouldn't make up for everything Russia exports. Russia exports 5 or 6 million barrels a day during ordinary times, but at least it would help a little bit, and we'd keep our money here in the United States rather than sending it to the Persian Gulf, Russia, other countries like that. Here's another clip that got a lot of play a little while ago from Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm about what her energy plan was, considering what we were facing at the time.
What is the Granholm plan to increase oil production in America?
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
So I just noticed on the graphic there, Christian, it was $2.89 a gallon at that point. That was before the war. So is talking with Iran and Saudi Arabia and Venezuela, is that the plan? Somehow I don't see them giving us a break. Right. Well, that's Saudi Arabia probably will not, especially since we've made a pariah out of Saudi Arabia. And this administration really has put the Arab Gulf monarchies at arm's length. We have diplomats in Caracas, Venezuela, talking about dropping sanctions. And we're about to rejoin the Iran nuclear deal, which I think would be a mistake, but we're going to do it. That will let Iran export oil. So in other words, we're going to Saudi Arabia. The president supposedly is going there himself. We're letting Iran out of the doghouse, letting Venezuela out of the doghouse. All these countries will become richer, export more oil, and in the United States, it's no go. Partly because the administration, I don't think they want oil prices this high or gas prices this high, but they want them to be a little high because they think that helps with their transition to green energy. Hey, speaking of transition, let's ask you quickly before we let you go about the WNBA star Brittany Griner, who's being held now in Russia. Are you worried about her getting out? How do we get her out? Well, this is probably, we don't have a huge amount of leverage right now, but we have to be insistent. Even what they say about her is true. If it's true, which we don't know it is, probably it isn't, who knows. But if it is, she's already certainly paid enough time in prison for a ridiculous offense, having a small amount of hashish oil for inhaler. Again, if that is true, clearly she is not a drug dealer. Clearly she was not intending to do anything nefarious beyond anything she may make with her own personal choice here. So this is par for course with Russians going after VIP
appease, but we have to be firm and demand her. I think her lawyers are trying to keep a low profile, but those days seem to be over.
All right, Christian Whiton, former State Department advisor. Always good to have you. Thanks for the time. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.